Hello and welcome to another edition of X-Feed. We're not going to give a huge spiel at the beginning. Let's just get into it. First of all, talking during the RWA SegMints Podcast, which we talk about all the time because we have episodes that drop every single week. We got a new cool episode dropping tomorrow, but we're going to play a clip from my conversation with Matt Bartlett talking about how many years he's been buying NFTs, which is absolutely crazy work.
I mean, I've been buying NFTs now for almost 9 years, which is kind of hard to believe. All kinds, some really great ones, some absolutely terrible ones. Futureverse. I mean, that has to be the worst experience. But that experience even was very invaluable because, you start to see how projects manage their whitelists, how the mints are structured. Do you have a window of time? For instance, you go back to the Moonbirds mystery boxes that Orange Cap did with Collector Crypt. I want to say it was either 24 or 48 hours, but there was no cap, no limit to the supply because they were all pre-orders. Fascinating, right? And it worked out extremely well. So you get to learn from some of these things. I've even seen in many cases where they didn't even have a product, they just had hype. I think now when we're building for SegMint and what we're doing in the collectible space, I'm just trying to put myself in the customer's shoes. I know what they care about, or I think I do because I'm a collector myself. I try to understand what's confusing, where the friction points are. And I think all of those lessons combined are helping us to design better, to be more transparent, and I think most importantly, have more collector-friendly, collector-centric systems.
And I'm of the... See, when we're talking about these collector systems and whatnot, and what people are looking for, the episode that's going to be dropping this week is a conversation that I just recorded this morning, actually, with John Lemon from the Doge Pound. And it was super interesting to hear the perspective, because you noticed almost like a trend when you talk to a whole bunch of people kind of in a similar context, right? When we're talking about what people value, what people enjoy. Within the conversation here with John Lemon that we did, it was one that we went into the aspects of there's not really any kind of long form content and people are actually wanting something. And it's not, to Matt's point a second ago that you just heard, saying, oh, sometimes all they have is literally hype and that's it. That was something that has happened for quite a while, and now people are wanting potentially something a little bit more. Very cool insights that we're going to hear from John Lemon, but if you're wanting to hear the rest of that episode with Mr. Matt Bartlett, the link is in the description below or in my bio on X. So 4 days ago, this was the post that wrote there, Bitcoin dumping again, just as Japan is set to unveil a 21.3 trillion yen stimulus. The same time, Elio trades saying, in related news, I have chosen tonight to begin drinking alcohol again. Now, obviously, we've seen the market come back a little bit. We'll see what happens, but clearly the timeline switched from being very, very bullish to the past about 30 plus days being not too happy. But interesting here from TBPN, in quotes, young people are never going to know what it's like to wake up at 3 p.m. and be like, I left my credit card at the bar. Momofuku founder David Chang says people drinking less is the real existential threat to the restaurant industry. Now, let's extrapolate that a little bit, right? Because this is talking, and I was trying to relate that back to the Elio Trades comment, but this is something regarding the restaurant industry, right? But then within the crypto space and the whole financial world of things, we're also kind of having a little bit of a hold on what in the world is going on with all this stuff with the impact from crypto. So again, these industries, everything across the board feels like it's going to massively change over the next little bit. For the first time ever in human history, Christmas is on 25. Wait a minute. That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. Because you would say the 25th day of the 12th month or the 12th month of the 25th day and the 25th. That doesn't even work. Hold on, somebody's pointing that out. The other 13 months. Okay, cool. I'm just an absolute fish. This got 20.8 million views. Why? Because we're a bunch of fish and we got hooked on a line. My goodness, unreal. So CoinGecko, I guess, has been working with this Tiger Research company, and they've created a little bit of a breakdown of this X402. Now, X402 is actually from Coinbase, and they invented this payment system protocol standard that is for the AI agent era. So I want to go over this really quick because it's something even I am not overtly familiar with, to be 100% honest with you, to keep it real. So the key takeaways, I'm going to try to make this where you guys can see it. Is this even going to work? I have to move the display cover. That is okay. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. Okay. So X402, a proposed standard for autonomous AI agent payments, is emerging as a key topic in the Web3 and AI convergent space. So as an example, there is a thing called Virtuals Protocol, and they have an agent, I guess, that's called Butler. You can message it on X. I think you can use it directly on the Virtuals platform. Think of it if you use Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok, any of those AI, type and get a response sort of thing. Imagine that, but you're able to give it funds to be able to do things, right? So that's the concept with it. Coinbase and Cloudflare have jointly established the X402 Foundation, introducing the concept and setting early development standards. Early facilitator projects such as PayAI, X402.rs, and Kite AI are drawing increasing attention for their potential implementation of the protocol. The recent spotlight in the market is on X402. And to be also clear, this was like a really, really hot thing. Like, I want to say 2-3 weeks ago, where anything that had any sort of relation to X402 just absolutely went parabolic for a few days. And now the dust is kind of settling a little bit and people are figuring out, okay, what's legit, what's not. Token prices of relative projects have surged, and the number of on-chain transactions processed through the X402 protocol has increased more than 20-fold in just 1 month. Yet few are aware that the concept was introduced through the establishment of the X402 Foundation by Coinbase and Cloudflare. So what exactly is X402? It is a protocol standard that enables AI agents to make payments autonomously, without human approval. Currently, all AI services, including ChatGPT, face a structural limitation. They cannot complete transactions independently because they pay because payment authorization still requires human intervention. The X402 standard seeks to eliminate this barrier, enabling AI agents to conduct verifiable, secure, and permissionless payments directly on-chain. So this is kind of a new standard. We're not going to go through like a whole bunch of it, but there was a comment here from Vitalik talking specifically about this.
Would be really nice to build on top of that is privacy-preserving payments, right? Because if you think about a person making, or aided by an AI, all kinds of AI agents making thousands of queries, then there's a lot of benefits to that being kind of as unlinkable as possible, right? Because like you don't want to reveal someone and their agent's entire history. You possibly don't even want to reveal enough that you let someone else guess what agents you have, because that's information that could be used to exploit them. I think it would be
So this is something that again is happening rather quickly, and this is an example of what it looks like in the past 30 days, that there has been almost 900,000 agent to agent communication. I was going to say conversations, but I guess that's not technically accurate. Well, I guess it sort of is. On the 30, just exponential growth that is happening within there. And as we're seeing, again, unless you're really looking for it or trying to find different things that are utilizing it, you might not realize behind the scenes how much is happening. You also might not realize Vibe's doing a tournament in Asia, $20,000. Seeing a whole bunch of these TCGs really taking off and doing some bigger prize pools on the podcast. We just had Koji from Parallel, which they went into their Las Vegas event where they didn't have internet. I still think that's one of the best stories I've ever heard from doing the podcast, because that sounds like an absolute nightmare. But Vibe's out there with some nice little playmats. Would love to get a playmat. Big playmat fan in general for all of these. And then the official Azuki TCG 64 players, $10,000 prize pool, one championship. The Azuki TCG Invitational January 2026. Right? So kind of neat that we are seeing some prize pools being put into these different games that are connected to crypto in one fashion or another. We talked about Giga, the Giga Chad. It's a meme coin. generally not like a huge meme coin kind of guy. We don't cover them too much. But they did snag a partnership with Walmart of all places. So if you want to get like your protein powder, I guess is what it is, you're able to do that. And Tiger is saying, you may disagree, but the Giga and Walmart partnership is more powerful as a narrative than the actual potential sales of supplements will bring as a result. Walmart is one of the bigger representations of the American consumer after Amazon. So there is your normie onboarding. It's tied to crypto components. Who cares, right? And it's also kind of crazy the difference between the two, because if we think of Rekt Brands, if you remember Rekt Brands, which on tomorrow's stream, we're going to go over their partnership with FaZe and a little bit more because we finally have the jersey unveil on that front. They got a nice little thing on their arm. So look into that for tomorrow's stream. But Rekt had it where you buy the drink and there was actually like a crypto token that was associated with buying the drink. And these, maybe it's a part of it too, but I don't think there's any sort of like buy the physical, also get like the crypto associated with it. But we'll see if other brands go down that route. VeeFriends continuing to do more on the physical collectible side of things. VeeFriends treasure chests drop on Monday, which would be today. Secure your sealed case of 10 boxes for $5,000 shipped directly. Holy sugar. So we played a video from Tim Livingston on Friday. And he was like, oh, we got to buy these things. I don't know if there was this or something else, but graded coins. The first ever VeeFriends coin collection comes encapsulated by NGC. Each character has a graded coin, including a 1-ounce pure gold chaser for Patient Panda. You can see the different number count for them. Again, 5 for the panda. I don't know what this one is. It looks sort of like a raccoon. And they're out of a certain amount. So 5, 10, 200, 300. Yeah, just different really take on physical collectibles. Gemstone pins. Kind of reminds you of the Disney Pinnacle, which again, if you download Disney Pinnacle, you're able to claim free keys every 4 hours, which you're going to be able to open up some chests for them. And then hidden treasures. Lucky treasure hunters will discover even more limited and luxurious gemstone pins in their set in place of their standard gemstone pin. So the crystal hen, radiant clear quartz centerpiece, the stained glass panda. Again, cool stuff if you're into that particular IP, which brings me to the next IP in One Piece, which is a great series, Spartan 3004. How we doing? Good morning. But look, same kind of concept. You have these different pins, acrylic charms, badges, magnets, pouches. All these brands are just going to do the same thing, right? Like, doesn't really matter. Sure, VeeFriends are doing these pins. We have Good Vibes Club that's doing like digital variations of pins. They're going to do physical ones. It's all just about people liking a brand in general. And what can you do with that brand to continue to get more attention? Continuing on that One Piece partnership with the NBA. So if you want physical statues of Luffy, there you go. Mika almost got social engineered. So let's look over it and see if you would have recognized that things were a little bit fishy if the exact same situation happened to you. So put yourself in the shoes of Mika here. So someone I met last year reaches out to see if we can catch up for a one-of-one. So you get messaged by somebody that you know. Okay. Verified account because we had a selfie and chat history from Ethereum Denver in 2024. Okay. So you really know this person. Well, sort of. I say, sure, always glad to reconnect. They send me a Calendly link. I accept the calendar invite. 2 minutes before the meeting, I realize there is no Google Meets link. The scammer sends a Zoom link. I knew something was up and I asked for Google Meets link. Says his partner are all on the call. I laugh and I say, nice try. Scammer rage quits and deletes the entire chat within a minute. Okay, so what I have noticed, this is weird. So if I had a person that reached out to me and said, hey, let's reconnect, would I argue back and say, sure, here's a link, and I provide it versus taking theirs? Maybe. I don't know. I guess like when you say like reconnect, I feel like it's something that you just like kind of casually do. I don't know if you necessarily need like a Calendly link for it. Yo, Roar, what's up? Check the calendar invite 2 minutes before the meeting. I realize there's no Google Meets link and scammer sends a Zoom link. I mean, I guess right here would probably be the thing of like realizing, hey, so they did the calendar invite, but there was no link attached to the invite. So that would be sort of weird because there's always one. But would I have been that aware to realize such? Yeah, I guess so. If you say, hey, give me the link, and then they say they're on the... I mean, when you get to this point when they're like, yeah, we're already all on the call, like, people would probably just be like, whatever, sure, I'll jump on it, right? But curious regarding the Calendly. So anyway, friendly reminder, don't talk to anybody. Nice. That's the way to do things. Kieran Warwick, the CEO and founder of Illuvium, the crypto game. Check this one out. Sort of interesting, where I feel we're going to have more and more people go down this route. I don't think it's necessarily a problem, but does it make things like less exciting to watch? Because everybody's going to be in sort of the same quality range potentially. We've been experimenting with AI to scale our marketing while keeping spend tight. Now, also, not to give away too much conversation with John Lemon, but we do actually go pretty in depth regarding GIFs, Giphy, and all that stuff regarding Pudgy Penguins, what the Doge Pound is doing, and so everybody's wondering about like how to scale marketing as a whole. It still needs some polish, but the only reason this even works is because our artists have built some of the most detailed characters in gaming. You don't get shots like this without an insane level of craftsmanship. I genuinely don't think there's ever been a game that matches the quality of our 4K creature renders. We're about to go hard on TikTok and push. So let's listen to this one and take a look. Do you give it a pass or just say, I don't know if I like it?
Meet Mule. Tiny, curious, and 90% chaos. And apparently, chaos attracts company. Turns out he's not the only troublemaker around. And here, Mule discovers something new. Naturally, he pokes it, because why wouldn't you? Then he spots an ebb, and immediately forgets every life lesson he's ever learned. Then Mum shows up, and suddenly, he's the picture of innocence. Finally, he finds something glowing in the frozen tundra, and for once, he just sits and wonders. Meet Mule. Tiny.
Parts of it are all right. I think the visuals are fine. The voiceover is quite good. This thing's kind of cool, but doesn't feel like it evokes a whole lot of emotion. This thing runs away, and I don't know if there was ever like an aggression out of that. And then it says the mom's there, but then you never see the reaction from the main character, even though it's like implied that there's something there. And then you stare at a poll, which if you don't know, I think this is like a representation of like the Illuvium statues on the initial. So listen, it's not bad, not bad. I feel like there's certain points that I'm like, you could use a little bit more maybe, but not too shabby. Roar AI is the future. A hater's going to hate. Welcome to the real world where we use technology to advance and evolution. I don't think it's a big deal, just a good render. Yeah, I mean, like visually, I think it's pretty all right. But I guess this is like the emotional concept of things. Oh yeah, look at this. So in Major League Soccer, to like promote the match, I guess they hired like some artist that does like faces, and two of the big stars for Major League Soccer are done as, do we call those clay models? I don't even know. But like, hot damn. Not bad. Not bad. Hyper realistic. Love it. Love it. Love it. Over a half of kids in the US want video games for Christmas, says a new study by the ESA. 43% want in-game currency, the most popular answer on the list. Oh, okay. So maybe we're like sort of on the right track of, the younger generations wanting to be online, having tokenized guy. And think about it too. If you're a parent, right? And back in the day, like thinking about when you played games, you're like, all right, you buy something, you get this membership, you literally can't do anything. And they're like, why don't you do something with your life? Imagine if you can respond to that with saying, you know what, I'm earning skins, I'm doing this. There's some sort of monetary value in the hours that I'm spending playing these certain video games. Holy smokes. The world will be flipped upside down. And last thing I'm going to leave you with, Sergito. We've had him on the podcast too. Again, the link's in the description down below if you're on YouTube or in my bio on X for the RWA SegMints podcast. But I talked to Sergito a couple months back, and he posted this the other day. And this is like the funniest thing I've seen in a minute. Back in July of 22, I was invited to go on Bloomberg TV to talk about NFTs, but then the UK Prime Minister quit and the segment started, and they had to change topics. So you you go and you're like, listen, we're going to talk about all these fun digital assets. And then you just get absolutely rug pulled and you got to talk about politicians. Unreal. Not what you want. But Spartan and Roar, thank you guys so much for coming on through. For anybody that's watching afterwards, thank you guys. And again, any likes, shares on the stream, whether you're on X, YouTube, Twitch, Abstract. I think I have a stream going live on Facebook as well. It's going all about them. It's going up forever, Laura. Roar, I need to find that clip because I still have no... You say it all the time. I've never seen it. There's people that get the reference. I don't get the reference, but I will learn. Thank you for coming on through. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and I will go on YouTube. You got it. Peace.